It's time for the Uncommon Wealth bonus content.
Hello, everybody. I'm Philip Ramsey.
And I'm Aaron Kramer.
We're coming with you a bonus content from Nick Darland, everyone.
Yes.
Holy buckets.
Love this guy.
That was a good one.
It's so good. I mean, there was so much I learned. I know I didn't do a good job asking questions. So I'm sorry, people, but like I was just so in awe when we were interviewing him.
You did great. Sorry, I just like totally took over because I felt like it was just, there was a lot to him and he had a lot to say. And so to try to kind of corral him into a couple of these stories, that was awesome. Because I felt like we got a little bit more, like I think he could talk forever about one thing. So to try to like keep him going of trying to understand and unpack his uncommon, that was fun for me because you knew a little bit more than I did. So
yeah, but by the time we got talking to him, I felt like I knew nothing. And I was like, what? You were homeless? Like twice?
Chaos was the word he likes. And then we didn't know that he had a book. So that was kind of a fun little like, oh, of course you do. Like when you hear somebody of that kind of stature, having that kind of background, I think you're just automatically like, you should write a book. And he's doing that. Of course he is. So yeah. HomeRevisions, married to Taylor, has his daughter, Andy. Man, the place where he is now, you would think he had everything buttoned up. Like you wouldn't have really probably deduced that he had such a background of history. But I think it was really neat just to hear the people that poured into his life. He talked about two of them, Mike, the Waukee owner that ended up letting him go. Remember that? Yeah. And then Jeff from Pella. But both of them passed away. Like fascinating to me that they're no longer with us. And he said that. And I was like, that's interesting. And then he had another person early on that he's still alive. And I was like, oh, that's helpful. But it seemed like he had a lot of people that have really like not trust him, but like believed in him, saw potential, believed in him, and wanted to help him kind of flex that uncommon muscle, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
They saw the potential in him, even though like he was going through really hard times.
Yes, exactly. I love the story of the person who like said like, hey, I want to give this to you. I know that you're going to be something. And it was like all that DeWalt tools.
Yeah.
Wow. That was neat. That was neat.
I know. So it's so cool to see like when he's a perfect example of like when you stay the path, like God will bless you.
Okay. Let's talk about it. Because there's a faith component to this one that, you know me, I'm ready to go there all the time with everybody. But like how cool God used you in that to have a conversation at Main Street that he remembered. Like, whoa.
I know, it's just funny because like it's funny how he remembers that conversation to me. Like I don't know. I think it was something I was listening to a book on my way up to the appointment to see him. And I just had asked him, I was like, if he was a believer, and he said no. And I was like, okay. Yeah. But like when we kind of moved on, I think it was like 5 second, I don't know, maybe max 60-second conversation. And but yeah, then to get the phone call the next day after his big event with his coworker, I'm like, best phone call ever.
It's got to be encouraging for you that like God used you in his faith walk to kind of reveal what he was doing in his life. I thought that was really cool. So
yeah, I guess I didn't see it that way. I just
I did.
Just been like, it's him. I'm like, that's cool. Like I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. So now he's in Harvard Business School getting his education. I love that he had a date, December 18th, 2023, when Nate went down. And Nate's still with us, and he just went back to his full-time job. And the fact that he's completely coherent and like still the same Nate, I mean, that's a miracle. That's not a miracle.
He said 103 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an hour and 13 minutes. So what would that be?
Hour and 13,
73 minutes. But still a long time. And like, I think that was interesting. He took 12 years ago, he took a CPR class. But he remembered that you're probably going to break a rib. And if you're breaking a rib, you're doing it right. So if that's not your public service announcement.
I know, because like, it's funny because I remember, I don't think you're supposed to blow anymore. And then they had people blowing and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I mean, like, that doesn't matter at all. The fact that they just, I mean, they did it and they like
you definitely have to get some oxygen in there. So
yeah, I don't know, his whole story. Like, I know I get to talk to him more than most people, so it's one of those things. I remember talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, I just got done squatting 405 pounds," and I was like, "What?" And my what is the fact that he called me like a week and a half prior to that and told me he had fallen and broke a rib.
Wow, Nick?
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
And I'm like, "You just squatted 405 pounds with a broken rib?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, dang. But then we have this podcast. I'm like, "Yeah, you did. That totally makes sense."
Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm just going to recap this. I'm going to land the plane on this recap with the exact title of his book. There's Power in Chaos. And what he understood through the 2 times he's failed is how powerful it is to keep your cash flow going. But also that there's power in chaos, meaning there are things that you're learning inside of trials and things that are going on in your life that you might not have been able to learn any other way. And so I know the Bible talks about it, be joyful in times of trial, because it produces endurance, character, steadfastness, all the good things. And he has seen that in his life. And I want that to be a resounding, I guess, trumpet in our uncommon clients' lives, is that, yeah, it's sometimes very hard, but in the trial produces something that I don't know if I'd be able to learn any other way. And man, Nick Darland was one of those people. There's power in chaos. And also there's an understanding that he even feels more comfortable than his poor wife. And he realizes now that he's married, he has a different level of tolerance for that. So, what a great, cool thing. But man, Nick, super big fan. I know Aaron is too. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being honest and vulnerable. What else would you say, Aaron?
I don't know. You're just my new hero, buddy. Like, you know how to get after it and just keep going and keep grinding.
Yeah, grit. There's grit there.
There's a lot of grit.
Something about that that's appealing and attractive.
Eating dry ramen noodles. And put the rest of your money towards your debt to get out of it. And then, like...
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for that.
Food. So that's my thing is like, man, the man did everything. It makes sense where he's at today, because he was willing to like suffer and endure to get out where he's at and to be where he's at today speaks wonders.
Yeah, it does. Nick, we're big fans. Thanks for being uncommon. Thanks for telling us your story. Until next time.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep. There's some there's power in chaos.
Yeah.
Have a good day.